We got an awful lot of folks here this afternoon, important people, not just us, but people running for office. And what we're going to try to do is accommodate schedules as best we can. And with that in mind, I know Andrew has got to hit the road, so with your forbearance, I would like to introduce our next governor, Andrew Hemingway.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This is amazing. We were just in Mason, and Mary Linda's shaking her head because she knows what I'm going to say. We do events all over the state, and it's so rare you get a really good sound system. And this is two events in a row, and it's amazing. The places where you really need them, they always seem to be messing up. But this is 2 events in a row today, so we're following each other around, and we're having a great time. I want to say thank you very much to Michelle and Lance for everything. They've been great friends to me throughout the years. And I especially want to say thank you to Michelle for that verse and for the reference. 2 Chronicles is very, very important. And I think it's interesting if I can, it is Sunday, right? So I can say a little something about this. I think that it's very interesting that in that particular passage, it talks about, it's a lot of ifs. It's if we humble ourselves, right? If we seek his face. If we turn from our wicked ways, then he will hear us. And ultimately, folks, he's not talking to everyone. He's talking to those that are called by his name. And it's up to us. It's up to us, those who hear that call, to humble ourselves. And I think that is a very, very important, much, much needed thing that we must have in our country in order for us to turn this around. It was the pastors and it was preachers ultimately who led part of the American Revolution, sort of the genesis of it. And true liberty is only found through Christ. And ultimately that is what we are seeking. So, all right, enough of that.
Really?
Well, all right. I could keep going for a while, but I won't do that. No, I just want to say I'm Andrew Hemingway. I'm running for governor. I'm from Bristol, New Hampshire. And my wife is of 11 years now, pregnant with our 3rd child, and we're excited about that. It's a boy. We don't have a name yet, so we're offering that up to the highest donor. Anybody who's interested. Lance is a nice name, I'm open to anything, though. No, our family runs back a long ways here in New Hampshire. My ancestor was the 28th governor of the state of New Hampshire and the first Republican governor in the state of New Hampshire. Thank you. He sent the first troops into the Civil War, actually, and was friends with Abraham Lincoln. And we live about a mile now away from his original homestead. So there's some interesting kind of a cool history. And, it all comes back to the idea and the essence of why I'm running. And that is that I believe that our state motto, live free or die, is more than just a catchy marketing phrase. It's more than just something we stamp onto license plates or paint onto signs. Live free or die, rather, is a statement of principle. It's something that we all hold to. It's part of the very fabric of who we are as a part of New Hampshire. And yet, over the last 10 years, we've seen the fastest, most aggressive growth of state government that our state has ever seen, culminating in the largest single public program, Medicaid expansion, passed just this year. And what happens when government grows? Always.
Cost us money.
Well, it does cost us money. That's right. Always, right? They're directly correlated. You cannot break that bond. They're inextricable. This is what happens. And so over the last 10 years, we've seen state growing. We've seen government growing. And we've seen individual and economic liberties shrinking. And today we find ourselves bearing the fruits of that. Huge budget shortfalls, unfunded pension liabilities in the billions of dollars for our state. And do we have a governor who's willing to face these things, willing to take on these challenges? No. Does Governor Maggie Hassan, have you ever heard her even use the word unfunded pension liability? No. She's never going to face that problem, right? She's never going to take on these things. How do we pay for Medicaid expansion? Still waiting for an answer from that one, right? And on Friday, we were the only candidate to ask Governor Hassan, so what is your plan when your buddy, President Barack Obama, and your other buddy, Governor Deval Patrick, ask you to house some of these illegal immigrants. What is your plan, Governor Hassan? Do you know what she said? We don't know. She replied, we don't know. We don't know. We don't have any plans yet. So tell us then, why was Governor Patrick here in our state, and why were you in Massachusetts last week? You know, what exactly is going on here, and when do we start to know? When do we start to have some information, some details about this? And so we're going to keep pushing her on that. We're going to keep forcing her to come up with an answer. I think that as the citizens of New Hampshire, we have a right to know if our federal government and our state government are going to collude and say, yeah, we're going to allow these immigrants into our state in huge numbers. I think that we have a right to know that. And so we're going to keep after her. We're going to keep going, making sure that we get an answer to those things. But folks, we're not just running to complain about the current situation. We're not just running to run down Democrats or whatever. We're running to offer specific solutions to some of our state's largest challenges. And this is where I'm excited about candidates like Jane and the others in this audience. Because what you see here is finally some folks and some candidates stepping forward who, sure, we occasionally are guilty of platitudes. I mean, it does sort of happen. But really, at the essence, what we're trying to get to is solutions to some of our state's largest challenges. That is ultimately where we need to go. And there's three areas that I talk about. It's education, it's healthcare, and it's our economy. We all know how to fix education. This room, this particular audience is experts on education. If I start talking about it too much, I'll get in trouble, okay? Just kidding. No, we need competition in education. We need education, we need competition, and we also need to emphasize local control. We have lost local control in our schools. Our families are disconnected from their kids in the public school system today. We need to empower parents, get them back involved in their school system, give them a voice and real choices in our education. I believe that we can build the best education system in the world, but it's going to start with parents. It's going to start at home, starting to make some of these big choices. I believe we can do that. Our healthcare system is simple. We need more health insurance companies. We need competition. You know, we have some of the highest health insurance premiums in the country, New Hampshire does. How does this make any sense to you? We're the second healthiest country, we're the second healthiest state in the country, and we pay the second highest health insurance premiums? Does that not make sense to anyone else? I'm just sort of thinking off the top of my head. Oh, by the way, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield reported record earnings last year.
Of course.
Just going to throw that out there.
Thank you, Gene.
Right? We need to fix that. We need more health insurance companies coming to New Hampshire, competing for our business. By the way, it was Gene Shaheen who did this to us. And it was John Lynch who continued those policies, and it's Maggie Hassan who's continuing those policies, and it's hurting the families of New Hampshire, and ultimately it's hurting all of us as we pay those excessive health insurance premium rates. There are other ways that we can fix healthcare. We'll get into those later, including removing the Certificate of Need Board and other ideas that we have, real specific solutions. And then also our economy. We all understand. We have families, we perhaps maybe ourselves are underemployed or unemployed. All over our state, you look. There is no demographic hurt more by this downturn than my generation, the millennial generation. We have an unemployment rate in New Hampshire right now of close to 40%. Do you know why we can't keep young people in New Hampshire? There's no jobs for them. They graduate. They want to stay here. They can't. They have to go to Texas or North Carolina or wherever else there is, Boston, wherever, right? We all know. We all have grandchildren or ourselves. We look around, where are all the young people? What's happened to them? We can reverse this trend. We can start to change this. And ultimately, it's those reasons and many more that I'm running for governor. But I'm most happy to be here today to endorse Jane Cormier for state senate. We are excited to get behind her. And as a campaign, we're going to do everything that we possibly can, Jane, to help you. We're willing to send out lit with you, do whatever it is that we possibly can in order to help you and to see you win this primary and to ultimately get elected and see you in Concord. So thank you, folks, very, very much. I apologize, I do have to run. We got another event going on up north, so we're going to hit the road right as soon as we can. But thank you again. It's good to see you, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Croc TV.